feel like I'm so low.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
My speaker's probably down. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Hello.
Hello.
My-
Oh, weird, Dean. You're late today.
Heather.
Hello.
Nice sweatshirt, Heather.
I like this a lot.
Oh, look
This
at
is
you
my
two.
favorite crew neck I've ever worn in my life.
I should run and go grab mine. So all three of us are twinning. What are they?
Yes.
twinning? There's three of us.
Something like that.
We'd be tripleting. Tripleting.
What a great word. Cool. All right. Well, the pro and the bro, and they're together. This is going on week 8. Wild to think that we are in week 8 already. Today they're going to cover the basics. They have some great outlines set up here. So like every call, if you have any questions, just ask in the Q&A and we'll get started.
Yep, we're gonna start with, so the basics, there's 2 different categories at this point. We have the capsules and we have the powders. So it's called the basics because they're kind of like essential, basic supplements, especially the powders, they're just single ingredients. Whereas the capsules are for the most part single ingredients besides the multi, but I just want to outline these because a lot of people get confused how to use these products and what they're for and how can they benefit us. So I just wanted to highlight this in a different webinar because it's, what is it, like 8 products at this
I
point?
believe so.
8 or 9 products.
Yeah.
So it's still like a good amount. And like I said, a lot of these ingredients, I just want to preface this is like, you should be taking them daily. And that's why they're kind of separated out. And that's how you're going to get the most benefit. So it's pretty obvious for people with a multi and omega and a CLA to take it daily. But then for these other supplements, they don't understand how to implement those into their routine. So we'll start out with the multivitamin and just go over what makes it unique in compared to other products on the market. So our multi contains 22 vitamins and minerals. And the biggest thing is it contains very highly bioavailable sources. So it means your body can use them or uptake and utilize them. Whereas other vitamins, if you look at their forms, they may not be using the best source. So really your body's just excreting them rather than using them. So you're kind of wasting your money. If you're just excreting the vitamin and you're not using it, then kind of like, what's the point, right? Of using it. So it's also a veggie capsule. So if you're a vegetarian or something like that, like I know a lot of our products use gelatin capsules, but it's a veggie capsule, which might be a little bit easier on some people's systems, or they might prefer that over others. So it's a 2 capsule serving. You get 30 servings. So if you take it daily, the biggest thing with the multivitamins, you should take it with food because a lot of those vitamins are fat soluble, which means you need some sort of fat source to help absorb them, especially like vitamin K, A, D, and E. Other than that though, and plus it might upset your stomach if you take it on an empty stomach. So when you take it, doesn't really matter as long as you're consistent. I feel like a lot of people take it first thing in the morning with their first meal. But like I said, it's not crucial, but when you take it, it's just a matter of being remembering to take it. So you want to touch anything with the multi?
No, that's basically what Heather said. Same thing that I do too. I just take it every day. I take 2 capsules. I take it in the morning with my first meal. So that way, again, it's like a routine, just like anything else. Knock it out first thing in the morning, and like I have it with that first meal. So with food all the time.
Also, I do want to mention if you, regardless if your diet is like perfect or not, there's probably a lot of minerals and vitamins you're probably missing out on. Even if you eat, like I said, really healthy food or a wide variety of food, taking a multi is just a good insurance policy just to make sure that you're getting all the vitamins and minerals, the micronutrients that you need. Because it's like a lot of times we talk about macros. And if you're not getting enough macros, that can lead to a lot of like issues, not only with health, but also performance and recovery. There's a lot of athletes who train really hard are deficient in things like magnesium and zinc and these minerals that are really crucial to get in on a daily basis. So if you're wondering if you should take it or not, I would say it's better to be safe than sorry. And it's really not too expensive to have that in your routine. Like I said, and it'll make a big impact if you like are deficient.
Yeah, I think it's almost, to me, it's like the same thing when we went over like the greens plus. It's like, even if you eat tons of veggies and you eat tons of greens, odds are you're still not getting the right amount. So that's why I always take my greens plus. The same thing with like the vitamins. You're more than likely your nutrition isn't getting you all the vitamins and minerals you need. So again, to me, it's just like the icing on the cake, something else to throw in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the next one we're talking about is our omega-3. So our omega-3 is obviously it's a high quality fish oil. Omega-3s are essentially just essential fatty acids that are typically found in like fatty fish. So I think omega-3s are crucial to supplement with because most people do not eat fatty fish enough times per week to get enough omega-3s from their diet. So I do think it's crucial. It's also omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. So it helps with overall just brain health, heart health, cardiovascular health, and joint health, things like that. So it's a great supplement to add in, especially take it alongside the multivitamin because it is a fat source. So if you guys are tracking your macros, I mean, it's not crazy. It's like gram of fat, but if you are just being really strict about it, I would add that to your fat intake. If you're not consistent, if you're consistent with your body's probably just used to it, but it is essential fatty acids that you probably don't get through your diet. A lot of our diets are rich in omega-6s, which are found in like vegetable oils and seed oils and things like that, that don't really, they're very inflammatory. So trying to offset that with omega-3s is definitely important. And like I said, we use a high quality fish oil. You can do, it's 2 soft gels, I believe, is a serving. You can do up to like 2 to 3 to even 4. It just depends on how many omega-3s you want to get in. But in total, we have 1,500 milligrams of omega-3. So that's enough. And that's comprised of DHA and EPA. So those are the 2 main omega-3s people discuss when they talk about omega-3s, is there's 2 different sources. And I know some products just have one or the other, but we have both. And ours just comes from, like I said, a fish oil. So
The other thing, one thing I'll say about ours as well is, and a lot of people I'm sure on this have taken fish oil from other companies or whatever. I know I have personally, where you take a fish oil and you're like literally burping up fish like throughout the day. It's happened with numerous different brands. I've never in my life had that happen with ours ever. So, because I know that's like a drawback, excuse me, that a lot of people talk about. They're like, oh, I don't like fish oils and it tastes like or I'm burping up fish and stuff like that. Do not have that problem with ours at all.
yeah, and we do use lemon oil, and we also put in some things in there to help preserve like the freshness of it and stuff. Because how can you tell if a fish oil is rancid? You just open it up and it smells like it smells terrible. You'll know right away. So, and some people also, I don't know if you ever heard of this, people put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
And the soft gels get hard. And then so when you actually go to like use them, not only do they stay good for longer, because that's the biggest thing, you don't want to expose the fish oil to like heat.
Yeah.
So if it gets hot, it's in the summer or whatever, if it gets exposed to heat, the soft gels kind of get more soft, and then they can kind of get gross, and they can even stick together. So yeah. And another thing is just take it daily. It's the best bet you can, if you remember to take it daily, then, and it's not something you'll feel. None of these supplements are like, well, some of the basic powders you can, but most of these supplements you're not going to feel. It's just going to be better energy levels. Hopefully your health markers are a little better. So like the healthier you are, the better you are in terms of like performance and recovery and things like that. So, so the next one we're going to talk about is CLA, and CLA is it stands for conjugated linoleic acid. A lot of people take this when they're trying to diet because they've shown that CLA shows that it can assist with fat loss. It can also assist with hopefully muscle retention. It's not necessarily you have to take it if you're dieting or not. Like you can really take it all year round. It's kind of just it's actually a fat that's normally found in like dairy and like beef and things like that, like naturally occurring. So if you are eating high amounts of like grass-fed beef and things like that, you probably are getting enough CLA from your diet. So I would definitely not say it's a necessity. But it is something that we do offer. Some people swear by it. I think I was watching like this guy's comedian Arnold, his like that was part of his morning Substack for getting ready. So not to say that's what is getting him to the stage, but I mean the biggest thing is that you're in a caloric deficit and you're driving that through training and nutrition, but the CLA might be helpful for some other things.
Yeah, I know it a lot of times it's in people's dieting or cutting stack, whatever they're taking. So
yeah, I mean, it does help with different like metabolism markers and things like that, but it's nothing magical. It's not like, and we've gotten these questions a lot. Like you can stack it with any fat burner we have. It's a non-stim. I mean, you don't even have to take it with the fat burner. You can take it any time of day, really. So it's a non-stimulant. You take it any time of day, and you can stack it with like a double timer or fired if you want to. That's definitely fine. So, okay, the next one we're gonna go to is the powders. So the powders, we offer various things. So depending on what you're looking to get out of it, if you're looking for more citrulline for your pre-workout or more beta-alanine or things like that. Like I said, I'm going to preface this by saying most of these you take daily for the best effect. So let's say you're taking hydraulic and it has X amount of citrulline, X amount of beta-alanine. That's probably enough for that day. But on the days you're not training, you should probably supplement with the beta-alanine, the creatine, the citrulline, things like that. And recently our newest addition is creatine. So we'll start with that. Yeah. So our creatine product, there's nothing in here. There's no flavoring. You guys can just either dry scoop it, add it to some flavored water or whatever, grind, and it won't like change the flavor of it. So creatine, I think, is essential. Like if I could recommend one supplement to anybody, probably from just our line in general would be creatine. And it's because it's not super expensive. It is more expensive now because of the supply chain. but it's still relatively inexpensive if you're just going to get one. And not only have they shown studies that show creatine helps performance and muscle mass and strength increases in power, but it also helps with like brain health and cognitive, has some cognitive benefits. So there's a ton of applications for creatine. And especially if you're like a vegan or vegetarian, you're not getting creatine from your diet whatsoever.
Yeah.
I would definitely supplement with creatine. And you can keep it straightforward. I mean, 3 to 5 grams per day. You don't have to load it. You don't have to like do
Yeah.
anything crazy. And it's really, it truly is unflavored. Like you don't taste it.
Yeah, you don't taste anything. Creatine, I tell people too, creatine, like anybody that asks me about creatine, I'm like, I usually answer with like, out of all the things we put in our bodies and all the supplements and everything in the industry, creatine is like the one product that has tons and tons and tons of research and studies and all that. So like, that's the one thing that's been researched and studied more than any other supplement there is on the market. So yeah, it's just, the other question is like, when is the best time to take it? Which you could ask, 10 people and you're going to get 10 different answers probably. Some people believe post-workout's the best, just because your body is, absorbing those nutrients and everything else for the recovery process. But some people take it pre-workout, some people take it post-workout, some people just take it whenever in the day. I usually tell people the most important thing as far as timing goes is just making sure you take it. Because creatine, again, is something that just like builds up in your body. Like Heather said, there's no loading process. That was something like years ago that companies used to tell you to like load it for the first week or 7 days or 10, whatever it was. I don't remember, but you would load 20
Like 20
grams a
grams.
day. Yeah. And it's so unneeded, unnecessary, and like such a waste. So you do not have to do that. Like Heather said, just take 3 to 5 grams a day. Most of the time, no matter what brand it is, it's like, but it usually comes with a scooper and it's 5 grams. So, but like some of our products do have some creatine in it already. So if you're taking those as well, you're getting some creatine, but 5 grams a day or so. And just the most important thing is just be consistent with it and just take it every day. So for me, a lot of times I'll even take it pre-workout just because I'll throw it in my pre-workout because it is unflavored. So I don't even taste it, but that's kind of like when I remember to take it. So I'll just throw it in my pre-workout and take it. So
I do want to mention too, for people who are hesitant about taking creatine, especially if you're dieting, it does not make you creatine helps absorb water into the muscles, but it doesn't absorb water into your fat. So if you do like start taking creatine on a cut and you notice a little bit of water retention, or I wouldn't say water retention, but just like weight kind of stalls on the scale, don't like freak out because your body eventually gets used to it and it settles out. So it doesn't really change anything like with your weight loss. It doesn't stop weight loss. Cause a lot of people are like, should I cycle off creatine when cutting or cycle off creatine in general? You don't have to. It's not a supplement that needs to be cycled off. It's a non-stimulant. It's not, and also you get creatine through your food as well, but you have to eat so much steak to get enough creatine through food. It's just not worth it. So that's why we recommend supplementing with it. And creatine, what it does, if anyone doesn't know, it's stored in your body as creatine phosphate, and it donates a phosphate group to ADP to turn it into ATP. And ATP is energy your body uses to perform exercise, to do really anything. So the more creatine you have stored in your body, the higher your performance will be. And like I said, it's even been shown to have cognitive benefits as like a nootropic effect. So like I said, creatine is awesome. I still think it's underrated. I know people talk about it all the time, but then they always mention like, oh, well, it makes me feel bloated, or it makes me like, that's why I say 3 to 5 grams. It depends on your size, when you take it. Like, don't take everything pre-workout. Like you can, but if you're trying to stack all the supplements pre-workout, no wonder why you feel like shit, because you're taking so much stuff. And like Dean mentioned, some of our products do have creatine in them, but in my opinion, it's not. You can definitely add 3 more grams and it would be a little bit, you'll get more benefits from that. So if we are taking one of our pre-workouts, even if it has creatine magna power or something like that, you can still take the creatine at another time.
And perfectly fine for females to take it. I know that was like a big thing too. It was like years ago, it was like a lot of females didn't want to take it because of that, people thought, oh, it's going to make me hold water and bloated and all that.
Yeah.
Most of the time that's been kind of debunked as well. So and like Heather said, my last show that I did in 2019, I think I took creatine literally up until 5 days before my show, which we kind of cut everything out, at that point. But so you can still get super lean and shredded taking creatine the whole time. So in fact, it would help you actually.
Yeah, it'd help you retain muscle mass,
Yeah.
which is huge. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is arginine. So arginine is a ingredient that typically helps with nitric oxide production, which helps expand your blood vessels, helps with pumps. So in my opinion, this is one of the few basics you don't need to take every day. If anything, you just add it to your pre-workout. That's the best time to take it. So do 2 to 4 grams in your pre-workout. You can add it to hydraulic, you can add it to ignition switch, whatever. And you just take it 20 to 30 minutes before you train. it's like any other pre-workout ingredient. I could go more into depth on how it works and stuff, but it's really not necessary. And if you are taking hydraulic and you're wondering, do I need it? I don't think you do. I think you're going to get plenty of pumps and plenty of that effect alone with just hydraulic. But if you are taking something like 7th gear or ignition switch, you want some more pumps, you can always add it in.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Arginine, I would say before a lot of new ingredients have kind of came out, arginine was like one of those main top ingredients
really
that
popular.
was in like the pump, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's
no,
kinda-
it was like the citrulline before
Yeah.
citrulline came out.
So yeah, it was like the ingredient that was the pump product before. Now we have a lot, different ingredients people are using as well. So
Yeah, and beyond the pump, arginine also plays a role in urea excretion and things like that. And that's like a metabolic, it's like a byproduct or a waste product that gets built up from exercise. So being able to excrete more like ammonia and things like that out of your muscles does help. So it does have some other benefits besides just pump, because some people would argue, oh, well, it's not that great for pumps. Citrulline's much better, which I would agree. The science shows that. But at the same time, arginine does have some other benefits. And there's even studies to show arginine and citrulline do better together than either of them separate. So if you are going to pick just one, I would go citrulline. But if you have them both on hand, I would stack them both together because there's kind of a synergistic effect. So next one, citrulline, we'll talk about. So citrulline is typically, I think our scoop size is a 5-gram dose. But hydraulic has 5 grams in it if you're doing 2 scoops. So you definitely don't need more than that. Like some companies nowadays are putting like 10 grams of citrulline in the pre-workout. Like you hit a certain point where it's not beneficial and you're probably just going to give your body more harm than good because it might cause stomach distress or things like that.
Yeah. Too much citrulline will take you to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. So
it will.
I'm sure Dean knows that, but yeah, I don't think that it's anything you need to like load up on. People are like, well, what if I take 15 grams? Then what? It's like, it's not going to give you any, it's like a light switch. Once you turn on the light switch, you hitting the button more, like it's not going to make it any brighter. The light's already on. So if your blood vessels are expanded, if you're looking for more of a pump after the fact, supplement with demo day or some carbohydrates. How is my phone even? It's not even in the room.
If you were taking, like Heather said, if you're taking 2 scoops of hydraulic, you definitely don't need to add more citrulline. But if you were only taking 1 scoop, then you could maybe add like a half a scoop or something of the powder if you just wanted.
Or if you're doing like 7th gear or
something
ignition switch, if you want to add more pump to those products, since those aren't like overloaded on the pump, you can always add more in. And it might be a more cost-effective way than even doing hydraulic if you, just add in like, that's the whole idea behind the basics, customizing your supplement stack. It's like, we're giving these ingredients to add so you can like customize your own little like regimen or whatever. So we have citrulline and arginine available as like I said, those are the 2 like pre-workout pump kind of ingredients in there. And you don't have to take citrulline or arginine every day. That's definitely not like necessary. You can if you want to, it's just not necessary. So 20 to 30 minutes before you train, take those with your pre-workout. And if you're looking for more pumps after that, then look at carbs like demo day to add in, because that'll give you a lot more pumps and go further than just adding more citrulline. That's not really the point. So the next one we'll talk about is beta alanine. And beta alanine is the ingredient that makes you tingle and like kind of gives you that sensory experience from a pre-workout. The biggest myth about the supplement is that it does anything acutely. It doesn't really, it does things over the long term. So it's like creatine where you build up a saturation of it. So this is why it's in our basics, because you should take it every day. So if you can remember to take it on your off days, you'll get a lot more benefits than just taking it pre-workout. And if you are taking one of our pre-workouts like hydraulic, or it's in every pre-workout we carry. So if you are taking one of those, you probably don't need to take it on that day, but on the rest days, then add it in. Or if you want more, some people like the feeling, so they add in another scoop. So it's been studied anywhere from like 1.6 grams all the way up to 6.4. 6.4 is pretty uncomfortable, but hey, some people take it. And like I said, the biggest thing of this ingredient, it helps with muscular endurance. So it helps you get a few more reps. It helps increase carnosine levels in your body, which helps, it's a lactic acid buffer. So it helps kind of get lactic acid out of your muscles. So it's a really cool ingredient. It's really, it's next to creatine and caffeine. It's highly researched to be safe and effective. So if you do want to try beta alanine, I think it's great, but I think you should take it every day. And that's why we offer it in the basics. So
yeah, it's the like Heather said, it's the ingredient that makes you tingle in pre-workouts, and almost every pre-workout now has it across the industry. The tingling feeling, some people love, some people hate, and some people, so it depends on. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. So I usually don't add it to the pre-workouts because I think I get enough through our pre-workouts. But yeah, but if you want more,
you do get used to it too.
Yeah.
Like after I've taken beta alanine for an extended period of time, I don't feel it as much. And also if you're fasted training, you'll feel it a lot more.
Yeah,
So like if you don't like it, or even on your off days, take it with food, because then you won't feel that tingly, weird kind of feeling. You don't think you have allergic reaction, because that's what I thought when I first took it. So yeah, so beta alanine is great. Like I said, it's highly researched. It's just like, it's a matter of timing. And I think it's just been it's been marketed kind of incorrectly, the way it's kind of pitched in every pre-workout. So the next one we'll talk about is betaine. Betaine is one of my favorite ingredients. It's great for retention of lean muscle mass, also power and strength. It's kind of similar along the lines of creatine. And we've had a question before. I had someone ask me, can you take creatine and betaine together? Yes, of course. And I honestly would recommend that. So betaine is actually naturally found in beets. It's kind of where it gets the name from. It also helps with cardiovascular health too. So I love betaine, but it's an ingredient you should take daily. 2.5 grams is the study dose. So I think we have 40 servings. So you just take that daily. And I like to add betaine to, since hydraulic doesn't have it, I would add it to my pre-workout. But you can take it any time of day. It isn't really necessarily a pre-workout ingredient. And it also helps with hydration, cellular hydration, things like that. So I think it's phenomenal. It does help with creatine production in the body, but it's not like it does the same exact thing as creatine. So you can take them both together. It's not going to hurt you in any way, except for I wouldn't overload it, because some people take too much betaine and it gives them issues as well. So you have any thoughts on betaine?
No, not really. No, because that was the one when we launched these, that was the one product I was not that familiar with, and you kind of schooled me on that. So
No, betaine's great.
yeah, I didn't know a lot about it at all. And Heather kind of filled me in on all that, and how it even helps with creatine and all that, and taking it with it. So
yeah, no, I think it's like something everyone should take from, like, if you were to buy 2, maybe even 3, I'd do Pico 2, creatine, and the betaine. Yeah, I would take those daily. So the next one, Pico 2. Pico 2 is the only trademarked ingredient we have in this list. It's a blend of 6 mushrooms, and so it doesn't taste like the best. It's kind of like earthy tasting. I enjoy it if I mix it with something flavored, but some people hate it. But you can do it around your workouts, but you should do it daily, because it also helps if you hate the tingles you get from beta alanine, but you still want the endurance and stamina effects to be like there, then Pico 2 is the way to go. So Pico 2, it's called that because O2 is oxygen, and the mushrooms kind of help your body utilize the oxygen. So you have the more oxygen you get to the muscles, the better they're able to keep producing ATP and perform at a high level, right? Like that lactic acid buildup is because of your body's running out of oxygen. So you're kind of getting that burn. So this will kind of help you get a few more reps. It's not like anything crazy, but it's a really cool ingredient that you'll notice after they show like 2 to 4 weeks of taking it. It's also one of those, like, it's got to build up in your system kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say Pico 2 is one of the most popular ingredients there is now. Like,
yeah, it's getting really popular.
Yeah, you see more and more companies using it, and even just the feedback we've seen in like our Facebook groups with Axe and Sledge, it's some of the people's like favorite product to take every single, like Heather said, you want to take it every single day. So you just heard her say if she had to pick 3 products out of all this basics line, Pico 2 would be one of them because of its benefits and that. So it's definitely a great product to throw in the mix if you're going to throw any one of them in there.
It's also not in any of our products.
Yeah, and it does not taste good. That's like a full disclosure because of what it is, but the benefits obviously outweigh the taste. But when you mix it with something like flavored, if you mix it with your pre-workout, or you mix it with the grind or whatever, anything that's flavored, it's definitely going to kill that flavor. So it's not terrible.
Yeah, honestly, if I would like, is that all of them? Did we miss? Oh, glutamine. You got stuff like glutamine. At the end, I'll tell you like my stack in terms of how I would set these up and like how I'd use each product. But so the last one I believe is glutamine. I don't think we're missing any more for that. Glutamine is a awesome ingredient that I actually have I kind of reframed my mind on, because I always knew glutamine was important, but the thing is glutamine's found in protein. So like when you drink protein powder, it already has glutamic acid, which turns into glutamine. But I also been struggling with gut health. And the biggest thing is glutamine. I take it in the morning and at night. So I'll do 5 to 10 grams in the morning, 5 to 10 grams at night. And my gut health has never been better. And it also helps with the immune system. So a lot of people take glutamine for recovery, but in my opinion, it's a lot more worth taking for the gut health and the immune system.
Yeah. And so that's a funny thing with glutamine, even myself. For years, I looked at it the same way. To me, I was always like, glutamine is for recovery.
I thought it was so worthless, to be honest. Like, I was like, why would I spend my money on that?
Yeah, and I literally thought it was just like to help with like soreness, recovery, and that. And I think more and more, well, actually, I know I've seen now more and more people over just the last year even talk about, when they talk about glutamine, they don't even talk about that. They talk about gut health.
Exactly.
So it's crazy, like, because glutamine has been around. I've been taking it for several years on and off. And it's like, I've never seen really people talk about gut health until the last year. And now like tons of people are taking it. And even my mother called me like 3 months ago because one of her friends, my mom was like, do you know what glutamine is? Have you heard of this? And but because one of her friends had stomach issues, her doctor put her on glutamine. So she takes glutamine every day or whatever. So yeah, it's glutamine is something I take every single day also. And I don't take it at night, but I know a lot of, I may even start, but I'll usually take I'll take it in the morning and I may take it even throughout the day if I just throw it in like a scoop of the grind or something like that. So same thing, I take like 5 to 10 grams a day as well.
Yeah, and I love it for the fact that it doesn't taste very good. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's kind of got this weird, like it's not like creatine where it's completely unflavored. But I do just take it. What I do is I do 2 ounces of water and I'll put a scoop in, I'll mix it up and I'll take it like a shot. So shots of glutamine in the morning on me. So I love glutamine. I've been taking it every day since I started struggling with my gut because someone recommended it to me. They're like, just try glutamine. I've seen it on plenty of bodybuilders, like full days of eating or whatever. That's kind of how they kickstart their day. And I do recommend taking it before you eat. So like before you eat, like at least like, I don't know, I take it like an hour. Like I take it right when I get up. So I'll do glutamine, electrolytes, and then I'll do just whatever. And then I'll eat later in the morning. And then at night, like I said, I take it just because I've gotten to the habit of doing that. But I think it's awesome because research actually shows that glutamine is the primary fuel source for your, like the cells in your gut and your immune system. So they actually like, they thrive on that versus glucose, which is what most of our cells, which is just sugar that like
have you ever tried I know you take your greens plus at night. You ever tried, you don't put a scoop of glutamine in
I
that?
don't like the way it tastes. I like the way greens plus tastes.
Yeah, but I don't know that
like,
I don't know that you would taste it. Have you tried it?
Yeah. Well, I tried it in my electrolytes. It made it taste really bad.
I don't know that because I put it in my greens plus sometimes in my that morning drink. Yeah.
I'll have to try that out. I also want to try some other gut health stuff that I know you do, but I'll have to try that out. But I love it. Like I said, I've noticed great benefits from it. And I noticed the biggest thing I noticed is when you go off of it. So a lot of these supplements, especially health supplements, you won't notice a lot when you go on them, but when you get off, you're like, wow, this like I feel a lot different, especially like things like elbow grease and these things that maybe you don't notice consciously, but they are helping. You know, and you'll notice a lot when you go off of them. So I'll talk about, like I said, how I use them and you can talk about you. So if you wanted to buy every single basics, obviously I'm just going to go over the powders because the capsules, I mean, you just take them every day. That's pretty straightforward. But the powders, I would do the citrulline arginine pre-workout 20 to 30 minutes. In my intra, I would do Pico 2 and probably betaine. Post-workout, I would do the creatine. And then I would do the glutamine morning and night. Am I missing any?
No.
So yeah, so L-citrulline, arginine. Yeah, beta-alanine. Beta-alanine, I would do
pre-workout.
Either pre or intra. Okay. If my pre already had it in there, I would just do an intra if I wanted more, but like I probably wouldn't want more. So like that would just be on the off days. But Pico 2 and betaine, I would love to stack in my intra. And then because it doesn't matter when you take them, you can take them anytime. And then creatine, I like taking post-workout because it actually, like you said, there is a little bit of research, you're splitting hairs that shows it's better because then you're uptaking not only carbohydrates, protein, your body's just going to uptake it and utilize it better, especially around that training window. So that's how I would take them all. And then the multi and omega I'd take daily just with my first meal.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I don't think there's much difference. Like I said, I think everything, obviously the 2 pre-workout. I've never tried Pico 2 intra.
Oh, okay.
When I take Pico 2, I usually do it. I'll just throw that in my pre-workout as well, but I may switch to that too.
It's because normally I do. So I don't know what it is about the Pico 2. I like mixing it with like a red flavor, and that sounds weird, but something like big cherries, big melons, even like icy cherry. I think it goes good with those because they're strong. So it kind of masks out the Pico 2 a bit.
I mean, a lot of them are, I would probably just go off exactly what Heather said as far as scheduling, because I'm pretty much the same thing.
And then on your rest days, this is really crucial. So on your rest days, you would take, if you had them all, creatine, betaine, Pico 2, and beta-alanine. So you just mix it. You can take it all at once. You can mix it in some sort of flavored drink. Because like I said, these are all unflavored. So they're all gluten-free. They all don't have artificial colors. Like if you guys are worried about any of that, you're not putting any more of that in your body because we don't flavor them.
Yeah. So if you're using an amino drink, like the grind or something like that.
Electrolyte.
Yeah. Or any type of electrolyte type drink, something that has flavor, you can throw all 4 of those, like she just said, on your off day in that drink, and it probably will not touch the flavor, like mess with it at all. You won't even taste them in there because they pretty much just dissolve into nothing. So that's the benefit of having them all unflavored.
I do want to mention too with Pico 2, some people like it. And I've wanted to try this with like a cocoa base. So some people put it in like their coffee and then they'll add like cacao powder or like it actually goes good with like a chocolate flavor note. So if you guys have something that that you have that's like chocolatey. Some people could put it in their drink or whatever, because I've seen companies even make products for like coffee that's
I was
like
just gonna say, there's companies that
mushrooms.
have mushroom coffee.
Yeah,
like
I think
mushroom
because
type
those
coffees,
flavors
yeah.
kind of go all together. So that's another option
Yeah.
for Pico too. But other than that, I know we get a ton of questions on the basics, but the biggest thing is with these, don't overcomplicate it. Don't feel like you need to take them all. Like you don't, obviously we just said how we would, but I would be a liar if I said I take them all every day. Besides like the main ones, like the creatine, glutamine, I do take every day.
like multi and omega,
Yeah.
like that.
Pico
But
too.
yeah, and Heather said it at some point during this, like the whole point of us making these products is really, they're just additives to, you could kind of customize what you're doing, because everybody's a little bit different. So you can kind of, like she said, it's not like you have to go buy all these or anything. Like you might just like 2 of them and throw them in the mix or whatever. So that's kind of the whole point of us doing that, is just make those options available for people to check out and kind of do what they want with their own nutrition and supplementation.
Especially if you're a different type of athlete, because I know a lot of times you market to bodybuilders and powerlifters, but if you're someone who's like, man, I want to get the benefits of beta alanine, but I hate the tingles because I go out for a run and I don't want to be like,
Yeah.
that's the worst. Doing cardio with beta alanine, it's the worst. So do Pico 2. Pico 2 is an awesome, like if you're like Cody Law, he's one of our athletes, he's a fighter. I think Pico 2 would benefit him a lot because he doesn't want to get the pumps, right?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need that, but like having something like betaine, Pico 2, that would help his performance, and it wouldn't give him those pumps and like he couldn't grab anybody. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like those
tingles.
kind of things.
Scratching his face off.
Yeah, like imagine him scratching his face, someone just knocks him out. Like I don't think that'd be very, very good. So, but other than that, I think we've covered it all. Unless, like I said, if people have any questions, you can always reach out to us. But I think these are very beneficial, and they're overlooked because they just aren't understood. Like people don't understand that. But if you looked at hydraulic and you picked out some of the ingredients on the label, you'll see that it matches our basics for the most part, for a lot of them besides Pico 2, like I said. And if you ask, like, why don't we put Pico 2 in our products if it's so like effective, it's because it's so hard to flavor. And I tell you what, like no matter how hardcore you are, we lose like our customers if we made a product taste
Well,
like
yeah,
shit.
overall, we want, I mean, when we pride ourselves on this, and anybody that takes our products knows we have some of the best tasting products on the market. So it's
Yeah.
like, well, that's why we kind of made it separate.
We don't want to skimp on the formula, but also you have to work with the formula. That's why some
Yeah.
companies do Pico 2 in certain supplements because they work good, or they put it in a capsule. So then
Yeah.
you don't even taste it. But yeah, so
Do you
that's
have questions, Carly, or no? Is there no?
She hit on all of them. The one was how to stack these, and you went through and said it all. So that was it.
yeah. Yeah, if you didn't want to stack them, like I said, the arginine and citrulline combo is a pretty cool combo. So that'd be one thing to look into. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to think of anything else I can talk about with these, but they're pretty simple. That's why they're called the basics. I mean, they're nothing crazy. Like I said, reach out to us if you have any questions, because I haven't told you how many times I've looked on Facebook and they're like, yeah, I stack like citrulline and arginine with hydraulic and an instant switch, and then I do like 5 grams intra, and I'm like, okay, you're just wasting your money. And I don't want people to waste their money. So
Yeah. Any questions you guys have, reach out to us, Instagram or Facebook. You can always hit us up, as always, on any product there is with Action Sledge.
yeah, I know Dean does a lot of like Q&As on his Instagram, so just bug him for any details.
And if
Well,
I don't know the answers, I'll just go to Heather.
And code Dean.
exactly.
Don't forget Dean.
Well, final Tuesday webinar. Sick. Thank you guys for your time. And
Thank you.
that's all.
Thanks, Jason.
Bye,
All right, we'll see you
Carly.
guys.
All right.